A 3-for-1 special in Queen Tours next on Crown Jewels. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to PLD Projects. Welcome back to Crown Jewels. I'm your host, PLD, and this is the podcast where I take you on a journey through the entirety of the Queen catalog, song by song, album by album, and to even talk about some tours like we're going to do today. So therefore, no real Crown Jewel per se, just a little bit movie for our expanded playlist as we get into those live tours. We are going to go into 3 tours today. I guess you could say it's only 2. I consider it 3. But, I don't know. Your miles may vary on it, but we're going to talk about them. There was the Jazz Tour in 1978 to support the Jazz album. There was another Jazz-like tour that they called Live Killers, and you've heard me talk about the Live Killers album, which is with this concerts. These are the concerts that the Live Killers album was pulled from. And then finally, there was a small tour at the end of 1979 called the Crazy Tour of the UK, Crazy Tour of London. And so we'll get into that a little bit as well. Not a whole lot of specific, rare tracks to get into. Sometimes you've seen me pull some songs to play. We have one song that I'm going to add to my expanded playlist. I wouldn't put it in the proper playlist because it is a bootleg. Obviously as a lower quality bootleg version and not an official release or anything, so I don't want to put that into one of the main mixes. It wouldn't be on Spotify anyway. I will put it into my expanded Queen playlist, and we'll talk about that for sure. You know what, let's just get right into it. I'm not going to have you stop and listen to anything and then come back and talk to me like we usually do when we're trying to figure out the Crown Jewel version, the best version of whatever song we're talking about this week. I do have another Google sheet in the show notes, which will lead you to Silent Night, which is the one really rare track that they did. It wasn't even really a track. It was basically Brian playing it on guitar right next to Christmas. It's a nice little thing to have, though, so I wanted to make sure that you guys got that. That is the song I'm going to put into my expanded playlist. Again, it's an instrumental only, basically Brian playing on the guitar, and the crowd sings along, so it's kind of nice. But we'll get to that soon enough. Let's get into these two or three tours, depending on how you look at it. And the first one took place in 1978, called the Jazz Tour. It was an American tour. It started off October 28th in 1978 at the Dallas Convention Center in Dallas, Texas. The 29th went to Memphis. The 31st, Halloween in New Orleans, the Municipal Auditorium there. November 3rd, Hollywood Sportatorium. November 4th, Lakeland Civic Center in Lakeland. November 6th, the Capitol Center in Landover. Then we got the New Haven Coliseum in New Haven on November 7th. 9th and 10th of November, Cobo Hall in Detroit, Michigan. The 11th in Kalamazoo, Michigan at the Wings Stadium. November 13th, they did the Boston Garden. November 14th, the Providence Civic Center. November 16th and 17th, 2 dates at Madison Square Garden. November 19th, the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale. In the Spectrum in Philadelphia was next November 20th. November 22nd, they did Nashville Municipal Auditorium. I said we, like I was part of the band, I wish. Next part of the tour, November 23rd, the Checker Dome in St. Louis. November 25th, the Richfield Coliseum in Richfield, Ohio. November 26th, the Riverfront Coliseum in Cincinnati. 28th, the Buffalo Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo, New York. November 30th, Ottawa Civic Center in Ottawa, Canada. They just went north of the border for a little bit there. Followed up December 1st, the Montreal Forum, which is going to be the site of a famous concert of theirs in a few years' time. And then we got 2 dates, the 3rd and the 4th of December, the Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Back down to the States, Dane County Coliseum in Madison, Wisconsin, 1978, December the 6th. December the 7th, Chicago Stadium in Chicago. The 8th, Kemper Arena in Kansas City. The 12th, Seattle Center Coliseum in Seattle. 13th, the Memorial Coliseum in Portland, Oregon. Then we go back to Canada for a date in Vancouver at the Pacific Coliseum, and back down to finish out the concert tour of 1978, December 16th in Oakland, Alameda County Coliseum Arena, and then 3 dates at the Forum in Inglewood, December 18th, 19th, and 20th. Now, the typical set list we have for those gigs, it opened up with We'll Rock You, the fast version. As we talked about that before, we're going to Let Me Entertain You from the Jazz album, Somebody to Love, a crowd favorite there. If You Can't Beat Them from the new album, Death on Two Legs, harkening back to A Night at the Opera. This is where the medley begins. Killer Queen, Bicycle Race from the new album. Going back to I'm in Love with My Car, Roger Taylor getting to sing his heart out. Get Down, Make Love, You're My Best Friend, Now I'm Here, Spread Your Wings, Dreamer's Ball they played a little bit, despite Roger's dislike for it. Love of My Life, 39, It's Late, one of the few tours they actually played It's Late on, one of my favorite songs from the era. I love seeing that. Brighton Rock, Fat Bottom Girls, Keep Yourself Alive. Sometimes they add that Fun It intro that I mentioned during Fun It. Bohemian Rhapsody, Tie Your Mother Down. We have an encore of Sure Heart Attack, and then an encore of We'll Rock You and We're the Champions, and finish it off, of course, the taped God Save the Queen. Now, tracks played only scarcely throughout. Some countries they would throw Jailhouse Rock or Big Spender in, typical songs that the band has done all the time. So not anything too rare, but still, they did play them a few times during that tour. Then after that was done, they ventured over to Europe. This became the Live Killers Tour. And as I mentioned earlier, that Live Killers drew from these concerts. Of course, they just took bits and pieces from different things. It's hard to tell what song necessarily came from where. Again, I've said it before, queenlive.ca. If you want to go visit that, Bob Wagner has an analysis on there, taken from a bunch of different bootleg recordings that has been heard. They analyze what came from what. They don't know everything, but they do have some some idea of what some of them came from. It's an interesting read for sure. We open up in 1979 in Hamburg, Ernst Merckhalle. We have Kiel and the Ostihal in Kiel. And then we do January 20th, Bremen, Stadthalle. Bremen. I am butchering these accents, I'm sure. These are all in West Germany, by the way. January 21st, the Westfalenhallen in Dortmund. And then the Mesopolpalast in Hanover on the 23rd. In Berlin, Deutschlandhalle. Then we traveled over to Belgium, the 26th and 27th of January, Forest National. We joined to the Netherlands for 29th and 30th of January, the Rotterdam Ahoy in Rotterdam. Back to West Germany for February 1st, Cologne Sporthal in Cologne, and the Festal Frankfurt in Frankfurt. February 4th in Zurich, Switzerland at the Holland Stadium. Then Yugoslavia for February 6th and 7th, Zagreb, Dam Sportova, and then Tivoli Hall and Ljubljana. I don't know how to say that. LjubljanA. I apologize to anybody who's listening from Yugoslavia. Back to West Germany for February 10th, 11th at the Rudi Seldmayer Hall in Munich. Then the Boblingen Sport Hall in Boblingen on the 13th of February. The 15th in Saarland Hall in Saarbrücken. And then February 17th, France, the Palais des Sports de Gerland in Lyon. February 19th and 20th in Barcelona, the Palau de los Esports de Barcelona. And then the 22nd and 23rd in Madrid, the Palacio de Deportes de la Comunidad de Madrid. And then back to France for February 25th at the Arenas des Poitiers in Poitiers. And 27th, 28th, and March 1st for 3 dates at the Pavilion de Paris in Paris. From there, they took a little bit of a break, and part of the same tour, they went over to Asia, went on April 13th and 14th at Nippon Budokan at Tokyo, the Osaka Festival Hall in Osaka, the 19th and the 20th of April, the Jizarini Kinenkamor Hall at the Kanazawa on April 21st of 1979. Then we got 3 more dates at the Nippon Budokan, back there after 2 dates before, this time April 23rd, 24th, and 25th. The 27th, they went to the Kobe General Gymnasium in Kobe. And April 28th, Port Mesa Nagoya and Nagoya. April 30th and May 1st, they spent at the, I gotta say this one carefully, Fukuoka Kinen Gymnasium in Fukuoka. And then May 2nd in Yamaguchi, the Yamaguchi Preferential Athletic Association. Sapporo, May 5th, May 6th in Makomani Ice Arena. And then finally, went back to West Germany for an open-air festival, the Saarbrücken Open Air Festival, August 18, 1979, in the Ludwigsparkstadion, again, Saarbrücken, West Germany. Now, for those dates, we have a typical set list of We'll Rock You Fast. This is kind of very similar, I'm not going to lie, to the last one, not a whole lot different. We'll Rock You Fast, Let Me Entertain You joins the fray. Somebody to Love, If You Can't Beat Them joins the fray. Death on Two Legs, Killer Queen, Bicycle Race, I'm in Love with My Car, Get Down, Make Love, You're My Best Friend, Now I'm Here, Don't Stop Me Now, Spread Your Wings, Dreamer's Ball, Love of My Life, 39, It's Late, Brighton Rock, Keep Yourself Alive, Bohemian Rhapsody, Tie Your Mother Down, encore of Sheer Heart Attack, second encore of We Will Rock You, We're the Champions, with the taped God Save the Queen. Now this time, tracks played only scarcely. Again, Big Spender and Jailhouse Rock make their appearances. Every once in a while, they throw the intro of Mustafa in, as you can hear actually on the Live Killers version of Bohemian Rhapsody. It starts off with the intro of Mustafa. Teo Torayate was played, of course, during some of the Japanese gigs. And finally, instead of If You Can't Beat Them, they would play Fat Bottom Girls. I'm actually surprised that Fat Bottom Girls was taken off the set for this one for the most part. Played only scarcely during this tour, considering it was a single and a pretty big hit at the time. I guess it was controversial. Maybe that's what they decided to do. I don't know. I wasn't there. But that was the second tour we were talking about, 1979's Live Killers Tour. Finally, the third tour also happened in 1979 after the band had started recording for The Game. In fact, they actually released the crazy little thing called Love, which we're going to talk about during our next album, The Game. This is a little bit of a preview. This tour idea was an interesting one. They decided that they wanted to do something a little bit different. They wanted to change the format that they've done, and they wanted to revisit some of these smaller venues that they played. So it was definitely kind of more of an intimate setting. They called it the Crazy Tour of London. They did a little bit, of course, in the UK in general as well. They also played the last concert of the tour. Hammersmith Odeon is a pretty famous concert from December 26th, 1979. It was a part of the Concerts for the People of Kampuchea, which was a series of concerts featuring Wings, Queen, Clash, Pretenders, The Who, Elvis Costello, organized by Paul McCartney and Kurt Valentine, and McCartney would perform as well, like I said, with Wings. It was performed during December of 1979 in London to raise money for the victims of war-torn Cambodia, according to Wikipedia. Rockestra was actually a part of that as well, which featured a McCartney-led supergroup of at least 30 rockers. But the Queen gig on December 26th was the very first of them, and you can find a lot of on YouTube this concert. It's a very famous concert by them. I enjoy it quite a bit. Some really good versions of songs there. But let's get into it. What the tour was necessarily. The tour started in, let's see here, November 22nd of 1979 in Dublin, Ireland, the RDS Simmons Court. Went into England for the Birmingham International Arena in Birmingham and the Manchester Apollo in Manchester. That was the 24th in Birmingham, and 26th and 27th in Manchester. Went to Scotland for the Apollo in Glasgow, November 30th and December 1st. Then we went into jolly old England for the rest of the tour. December 3rd and 4th at Newcastle City Hall in Newcastle. The 6th and the 7th in Liverpool Empire Theatre in Liverpool. The 9th in the Bristol Hippodrome in Bristol. The Brighton Centre in Brighton for the 10th and the 11th. Then we did the Crazy Tour of London. The 13th in the Lyceum Theatre, the 14th at the Rainbow Theatre, the 17th, my birthday, Perlay Tiffany's, the 19th at Tottenham Mayfair, the 20th at Lewisham Odeon, the 22nd at Alexandra Palace, which was going to be the final gig of the tour, but then, like I said, they did the Hammersmith Odeon for the 26th of December, 1979. Let's look at the general typical set list we had here. Intro is a taped intro from Dead on Time, very lots of thunderous sounds and everything, going into We'll Rock You Fast, Let Me Entertain You, Somebody to Love, Mustafa they played, Death on Two Legs, Killer Queen, I'm in Love with My Car, Get Down, Make Love, You're My Best Friend, Save Me, a song from The Game that makes its debut during this tour, a piano ballad written by Brian May. We'll get there, one of my favorite songs from that era. Now I'm Here, Don't Stop Me Now, Spread Your Wings, Love of My Life, 39, Keep Yourself Alive, drum solo, guitar solo, Brighton Rock reprise to end the guitar solo, crazy little thing called Love, another big, from The Game, a big single at the time, Bohemian Rhapsody, Tie Your Mother Down, encore of Sheer Heart Attack, finishing it off with We'll Rock You, We're the Champions, and God Save the Queen. They had a couple of tracks they played scarcely throughout this. Again, Jailhouse Rock was always one of them. If You Can't Beat Them was played a few times. Again, that was what had replaced Fat Bottom Girls, so that was kind of kicked out as well, but they did start playing that a little bit here and there. They brought back Liar, which was nice, everyone for a few of the gigs there. Haven't played that one in a bit, probably one of the most famous concert tracks from the original Queen album, Keep Yourself Alive being the other. They did play Fat Bottom Girls scarcely a little bit during this tour. And the three interesting dates in Liverpool in December 7th of 1979, they reportedly played Mull of Kintyre, which is a Wing song. I have never heard this. I've never heard any recording of it. I've heard it was good. I've heard it was fun, but I cannot comment on that. Likewise, in November 22nd in Dublin, they reportedly played Danny Boy. It's one of those impulsive things they would do. I'm pretty sure these weren't like fully arranged versions. They were probably kind of impulsively played by the band. They kind of just played along, which is nice. And then, of course, on that Hammersmith date on the Concerts of Kampuchea, that's where they played, well, Brian basically played Silent Night, which you can find, like I said before, in the show notes there. It's audio only. I wish I did have video of that one. All the video from Hammersmith, I've never gotten to see them play Silent Night there, so I might have cut it out of the video. I'm not sure. But yeah, that is all the tours we're talking about. Again, 3 tours. That closes out 1979, and that closes out this era of Queen. That's it for the show this week, folks. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of a take. Like I said before, queenlive.ca, also queenconcerts.com is another great resource. A lot about the set list there, things of that nature. I do love looking at that, so please patronize those sites as well. But that will do it for this week. Obviously no Crown Jewels this week, no anything like that. I will put Silent Night into the expanded of the Queen playlist, but if you're trying to keep up with that, that's a little more difficult because you'd have to find them, download them, and probably use YouTube Music, because I think YouTube Music might be the only one left that you can actually upload your own tracks to create your playlist. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. If you are, let me know. And if you want to let me know anything, hit those notes below. Hit those comments below. Leave it a like, subscribe, all that good jazz. Want to help me out even further? Patreon.com/PLDprojects. We'll do some fun stuff there. Hopefully we can get back into some stuff. I was tied up. We had quite an interesting 3 months have been very difficult around here. Hoping to get back to some stuff this summer. I really appreciate that, though. If you guys can't do it, totally get it. Just kind of share, like, and do all that. Rate 5 stars if you're listening on the audio side of things. Love you guys. Love you guys so much. Hope you guys are having a good time here. And if not, well, it isn't for you. I get it. I totally get it. Hey, I can't please everybody, right? All right. Well, that will be it for this week. Like I said, next week we are getting into The Game. The first song we're going to go into is Play the Game, written by Freddie Mercury, a big hit for the band. And the first album that they actually put on, they do not have the no synthesizer rule on there. So it's definitely a fun time and definitely a new era for the band. Stay tuned. Till then, I will see you next time.